maybe 30x, more than 10x. So what a sweet savior. Um, I've seen people early end their hex stakes just to get into Genius. I've seen a lot of whales dump all of their hedron just to, well, some of them like 90% of their hedron just to get into Genius. And if you're watching it, I just want to say congratulations. Like, nobody knows the future. Nobody knows what's going to do well, but Genius ended up being the hit, and that's awesome. Genius has been the only hit in this bear market. You could say Maxi too, like the thing that's a piece of the Hex world. But Maxi is still gonna follow Hex in a way, and that's to be expected. It's a good thing too, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I would say Pulse Doge has done pretty good, like better than I've expected. And by the way, Pulse Doge, congratulations to. I was listening to a talk with the founder of Pulse Doge with Maddie Allen and another individual. And I really respected the person who did Pulse Doge, especially how they distributed Pulse Doge. I thought it was really smart how they specifically targeted certain like hex category of like hex users with keeping in mind which hex users were more likely to drive adoption for Pulse Doge. I thought that was a great idea, especially the limited supply versus the whole like number bias thing. So yeah, so there you go. Like Pulse Doge hasn't done too bad. US dollar coin hasn't done bad, but US dollar has absolutely inflated way more than what you hear the official report to do. And Genius just kicked everyone's ass. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for everybody who's involved in that. That's exciting. And I'm so excited and happy for everyone involved in Genius. The sacrifice, by the way, a KM Analytics from the Genius chat room. He's a data analyst, and he did an audit on the sacrifice transactions and the sacrifice numbers. And you can find that at geni.to/sac audit, SACAUDIT. So geni.to is the domain, geni.to/sac audit, and you can look at his spreadsheet that audits this. You can also look at it to see if you were a sacrificer, a Genius sacrificer. You can also look at it, better to say, if you participated in the Genius sacrifice, you can look at the spreadsheet to see what your exact number of Genius tokens will be for the official Genius airdrop coming up in the future. All right. So now what we have this cryptocurrency crash, but really now it's national currencies versus cryptocurrencies. I've waited for this moment for at least 10 years, probably almost 12 years, probably since the beginning when I started to understand what Bitcoin was about, what Bitcoin was doing. Because, national currencies, like we've, as a society, as a civilization, we have upgraded so many parts of our lives. We've upgraded so many parts of society, but money and currency and store of value have not been updated. And they've sorely have needed to be updated. And that's happening today. Today is national currency versus cryptocurrency. Like us programmers and stuff, we made a better currency than these governments. That's pretty cool. And these cryptocurrencies are useful. And if they're useful, people will inevitably use it no matter how much controlled opposition you have. And there's a ton of controlled opposition in the cryptocurrency world. I've never had so many people calling me a scammer on my social media as much as today. Well, before it's just from being in companies and stuff, or from OGs, like Bitcoin OGs that lost their wallet and want to blame me for it. I'm like, dude, you lost your wallet. That sucks. Tried to help you. Tried to tell you what to do. But yeah, like on Twitter, just so many randos, no profile picture, 2 followers following one person or something, calling me a scammer, right? So I don't have that many followers on Twitter. So it just shows you the controlled opposition here. And I think it's pretty interesting. But what I'm getting at is I know a lot of you see this controlled opposition with crypto. Don't let it get you down. Uh, all the controlled opposition in the world cannot hold back something that's useful for people, especially when it's growing so quickly. The internet overcame that. Um, for those of you who are religious or even not religious, the message that Jesus had overcame that as well. I'm not religious at all, by the way. So great things, you just can't stop them. Humanity wants them. All right. Another Digital Diogenes. He's somebody from the Genius chat room group. He mentioned to me about all of these crypto AMAs going on and how they're totally corrupt. And you've probably seen that I have a lot of AMAs that I did in the recent past. A lot. Like, I think 4 of them were posted on this channel. And people from the Genius community paid for them. I think Digital Diogenes paid for all of them. Digital Diogenes did the PlayStation 5 giveaway, which the winner I think was announced yesterday or the day before, and they were somebody who was in the room, in the Genius chat room. I don't know who they are. I think I saw their post in there, but congratulations to that person, whoever you are. That's cool, getting a PlayStation 5. It's hard to get a PlayStation 5 today still. Yeah. So, hey, anybody that wants to do an AMA, I'll gladly do an AMA with you. Not a paid one, though. I'm not going to pay you to do it. I have a lot of valuable things to share with your community, and I don't think we need to do an exchange or a barter for that. All right, so let's see. Should I jump to some more questions? Price. Everybody has asked me about price for Genius, for Bitcoin, for etc. I don't have a crystal ball. Of course, I don't know the future, but I do often think about possibilities. The Genius price, the legacy token price. People ask me about this. There's a demand reason to get it. There's also liquidity. There's also low liquidity, as many liquidity providers pulled out entirely and sacrificed, or pulled out most and sacrificed. But the liquidity providers who are remaining for the legacy Genius token, excuse me, the liquidity providers that I've talked to who are still providing liquidity, they are praying and hoping that they get dumped on. They are praying and hoping that people who still have legacy Genius token, they are praying that they take their Genius token and they dump it on them and take all their USD coin because they want more Genius. And it's pretty smart how liquidity providers can get that. For any projects or products in the future doing a sacrifice, I highly recommend that when you do a sacrifice, I highly, highly recommend that you have a placeholder token. I think it's a very fun and interesting mechanic, and I think it's really cool. The downside is that you're not going to get as much US dollar worth of stuff for marketing and all that. Instead, well, assuming that you have the sacrifice address, but instead, like, maybe you have a nice percentage of the network to to raise money with, or something like that. Raise money from like VC groups or family offices. So there's pros and cons, but I think the game theory for it is awesome, and I think it's really cool. I think it makes the project more attractive, the product more attractive. What makes the project more attractive? To do a sacrifice with a mechanic of having a placeholder token that has a fixed value of sacrifice points. My words aren't working. I'm going to cut it short here pretty quick. Excuse me. But what I do want to say is, let me check out some questions here. Let's see. Correct. Just because the sacrifice is concluded does not mean that the party is over. That's true. If you want the very first supply of Genius, your best way to get it right now, and to even not forget about it, the best way right now is to buy the Legacy Genius placeholder token. That's the only way, actually. Price predictions for ETH or Bitcoin. I think I may have already mentioned that, but I do want to say I never have price predictions for Ethereum. I do have price um, direction predictions for Ethereum, and that has helped me a ton in the past. Uh, but not actual prices, especially with Ether, because Ether was not designed to be, wasn't designed to be a store